first off, just for a little bit of context, okay? I'm on Selling Sunset's Wikipedia page. The first line reads, Selling Sunset is an American reality television series created by Netflix by Adam Divolo. Okay. The production company that produces the show is Done and Done Productions and Lionsgate Television. Okay. Now let me go ahead and Google Done and Done Productions just to do a little bit of research because, like I said, she is exposing production. So we need to know who these people are. Okay. Let's see. Done and Done Productions about Adam Divolo, while at his position as a development executive at MTV in New York City, developed the landmark series Room Raiders, Say What Karaoke, Made, and TRL, to name a few. In 2004, he moved to California to develop and eventually produce Laguna Beach, the Royal Orange County. The series became an instant creative and critical success. He started his own company in 2007, Done and Done Productions. Through his newly formed company, Divolo created and executive produced MTV's highly successful The Hills and its spinoff series, The City, right? They signed a multi-year deal with Lionsgate to develop and produce unscripted programming. Okay, from this partnership, he has produced an ABC drama called Nashville or a show called Music City for CMT, excuse me. And then in 2019, launched the cultural TV sensation Selling Sunset, focused on the luxurious careers and dramatic personal lives of successful female real estate agents, all working at LA's top agency, the Oppenheim Group. You guys, okay, we're doing our research. I'm building up the story. Follow along with me. We're going to get there. The series was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Unstructured Reality TV Program, and I did not even know that. You mean to tell me Selling Sunset is an Emmy-nominated TV series? We love to see it. Now, you know, shout out to Adam because he has created a show that I love so dearly. I am obsessed with Selling Sunset. Y'all know it's like my favorite show, one of my favorite shows on Netflix, reality-wise. And it's just a joy to watch. I mean, the fashions, the drama, the cinematography, like the storylines. I feel like Selling Sunset literally is the perfect version of a reality TV show, soap opera, right? However, in this interview with Miss Alex Cooper on Call Her Daddy, honey, Christine Quinn was spilling all the tea on production, more specifically Adam Divolo, or whatever the hell his name is, basically calling them manipulative, abusive. They mentally tortured the girls. I mean, they were on set for 3, 4, 5 hours at a time, being overworked, filming 5 to 7 times a week, 3 scenes a day, sexual misconduct complaints, told the girl to kill herself complaints. The guy is not even allowed to be on set because of the formal complaints that have been filed against him. Exposing the show for being fake storylines, lying on her. Yo, Christine was not playing. Christine was not playing. And she said, hell, I might be sued for this, and they may not ask me to come back to the show, but guess what? I have all the money in the world, and I have really great lawyers. So try it if you want to. Okay, this ain't no Tasha K. I'm not fighting the machine. I am the machine. And I was like, ooh, Christine. So if you guys don't know, y'all know Selling Sunset is on Netflix. It's a show about, of course, I just read it. These women, they're top real estate agents with the Oppenheim Group. And Christine Quinn is like the villain of the show. And you can tell that she really plays into the villain role. She admits in this interview that when production came to her for the idea for the TV show, they actually wanted her to be the villain of the show. They've had conversations about this, right? Well, Christine says she agreed to be the villain. However, where she drew the line was that she did not want to perpetuate these fake-ass storylines that were filled with fabrications, lies, and nothing but fakeness, right? She says that they inserted in a lot. They dub over stuff, which means they create audio, which means they insert audio that was not a part of the scene to fit some sort of narrative. And she says that they cut out a lot of things, right? They want to drive home this narrative that Christine is a villain. And so a lot of her vulnerable moments get cut out in order for the viewers to perceive her in a certain type of way, which is nothing new. We know how reality TV works. We know how it works. We know that it's basically fake. 70 to 80% of everything you see on reality television is fake. It is not real. It doesn't exist. It's all a figment of everybody's imagination. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get that straight, right? Well, honey, she did not waste no time telling us how production works. Like I've already mentioned, she said in this interview on Call Her Daddy that filming is sometimes 5 to 7 days a week. Sometimes they film 3 scenes a day. They tell them what to eat, what to wear, push your cleavage up. No, we don't want to see you in a monokini. We need more skin and we want more body. Wear that bikini. I mean, very strict schedule. Doing these scenes, sometimes the scenes are 3, 4, 5 hours long because they're waiting for the girls to give the producers what they want. And sometimes it just takes a little bit longer. More production secrets. Christine goes on to say that there are 6 storyboarders. Now, do you guys know what a storyboarder is? Now, I went to film school, right? And basically, a storyboarder is someone that kind of like draws out a story. A person that comes in, a producer that comes in and kind of helps produce stories. They come up with storylines. Basically, it's a way to call a writer without calling them a writer. A storyboard is a writer. Okay, so y'all get where I'm going with this? Christine is trying to drive this narrative home that this show is fake. Okay, she says there are 6 storyboarders, also known as writers, where they come up before every season. They come up with these storylines and they plan out everything. And the only reason why they would ever deflect or delve away from a storyline is if something changes regarding someone's real personal life. For instance, they already have their storyline for what they want Christine Quinn to do. However, let's say Christine gets pregnant in real life. Therefore, they may switch up the storyline to accommodate her real life situations. Does that make sense? For instance, they already have a storyline for Chrishell Stouts. However, they may delve off and tell a different story depending on what's happening in Chrishell's life, i.e. her relationship with the boss, Jason Oppenheim. And I guess maybe next season we'll get this relationship when it comes to G-Flip, the non-binary artist. Okay? Does that make sense? So this reality TV show, which is supposed to be unstructured and unscripted, they have storyboarders. And you guys, I believe almost all reality TV show productions have writers or storyboarders or producers. They're producers, which means they come in, they talk to the cast, and they tell the cast, this is what we need from this specific scene. We would like for you to say this. We would like for you to mention this. We want you to bring this up, and we want you to go in there and do it like this. Okay? So no, it may not be scripted in a way where the cast are memorizing lines. However, it is heavily produced and it is heavily staged. Okay, Christine is breaking all of this down in this interview. She goes on to say that, the story may change depending on what's happening in the real life of the characters, right? Now, that's where we get into this whole thing of the bribe. Now, remember in this latest season, there was a storyline where Emma's client says that Christine approached them and bribed them with $5,000 to work with Christine instead of Emma. Emma then took that back to Jason Oppenheim, and Jason Oppenheim had no choice at the reunion to terminate Christine's contract with the Oppenheim Group, which I always thought that whole storyline was fake. And I said this in my season 5 recap when we talked about it just, a couple of weeks ago, right? Now, here's what I told y'all. And I'm go ahead and give myself a pat on the back because everything I said ended up being true according to Christine Quinn, right? So, in my season 5 recap a couple of weeks ago, I said that it seemed to me as if Christine was no longer interested in being a part of the O group. She's never at the office. Chriselle basically spilled the tea that she really wasn't selling homes under the Oppenheim group. She really wasn't there. She was on maternity leave. She had postpartum depression, this, that, and the third. She had a lot going on. And it always seemed like to me that Christine Quinn was way more focused on her newfound fame, being a fashionista, being a celebrity, being a reality TV star, versus really being a real estate agent under Jason and Brett. Okay, are you guys following along? So the producers noticed this and they knew that Christine was probably on her way out the door and that she was no longer going to be working under Jason and Brett. Therefore, the producers had to scramble and come up with this storyline in order to phase Christine out of the company and bring on Chelsea. So they brought on Chelsea, who was basically like a carbon copy. I mean, Chelsea basically is the black version of Christine. I mean, beautiful woman, confident, great personality, very dramatic, confrontational in ways, in great ways. Dresses for the nines, the fashions and the designers and the over-the-top lifestyle and the way she speaks and the way she walks and carries herself. I mean, she basically is a carbon copy of Christine, and I say that in the best way possible because I do believe that Chelsea, I hope I said that name right. Chelsea is who I'm talking about. I do believe that Chelsea is the best thing to happen to Selling Sunset in a long time, right? I kind of feel like all of the other new girls, like Emma, she kind of fizzled out for me. Vanessa was just a little bit boring. But when Chelsea came onto the scene, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air. And I was like, yes, finally somebody that's different, that's not like everybody else. So I thought Chelsea was a great addition. So kudos to the producers for that. But I say that to say that I could tell by watching it that Christine was going to be on her way out. Therefore, they introduced Chelsea to us by way of Christine. And Jason's, I guess, condition was you can be at the Oppenheim group. You can be an agent under this brokerage if you find a buyer for this specific listing, which Chelsea did. And I came on my platform and what did I say? I said, I don't really think Chelsea in real life really found a buyer for that house. I just thought that they just played that up for the storyline, right? I don't really think Chelsea found a buyer. I don't really think Jason was on that phone making deals with the seller of that home because we obviously saw, and we clocked it before TikTok got it. We saw that Jason wasn't even on the phone call with the seller of the home. He was on the camera app, basically faking a phone call, going into Christine's narrative that all of this is fake. Okay, are you guys following? So, Chelsea then ended up selling that home. So she got inducted into the O group. Maya, I think, is quitting the O group and she's moving on to Miami and whatnot. And I think that whole situation was set up to then release Christine from the O group storyline wise. Because at the very end of the season, we then got this new storyline of Emma saying that her client said that Christine bribed her. And then at the reunion, Jason says that Christine has been terminated. Well, do you guys want the real story? You want the real story, right? Christine basically says that she had already terminated her contract with the O group. She told the O group, Jason and Brett and everybody else in between, including production, that she had planned on leaving the O group because she was launching her own brokerage and had been working on it for a year and a half. And so she had been terminated her contract with the O group, which may have kind of explained why the hell Chriselle kept talking about she's not selling any homes. She's not selling any homes. She probably wasn't selling any homes under the O group because she could not be a real estate agent under her own brokerage and the O group at the same time. Okay. So Christine, this is what she's saying on the Call Her Daddy podcast, by the way. Christine ends up going, well, I told the producer that I was launching my own brokerage, and you guys are more than welcome to follow along. The producers did not like that. They wanted to do something totally different, hence why they introduced Chelsea. Okay? Now, she says that the bribery thing was fake because they needed something to explain Christine's departure from the brokerage. I hope this is making sense. I hope I'm not talking in circles. I hope I'm making sense, y'all. I really, really, really do. She basically says they set all of this up. They knew that I was leaving anyways. They just needed a more dramatic, juicier storyline to make it, I guess, some sort of grand finale. And they really have all of these viewers out here thinking that I'm out here bribing clients, which is borderline criminal behavior, if it really isn't. So anyways, what do y'all think? Now, some people will say, because I have a friend who watches Selling Sunset, and he goes, well, I don't believe anything that Christine says. She's a narcissist, and she's this, and she's that, and she's the third. I don't believe her. If someone comes out and corroborates her story, then maybe I'll believe it. But so far, Christine is a known liar, so she's probably lying about these being fake storylines. But as a person, for me personally as a person, I just am not naive when it comes to reality TV, and I understand that a lot of this stuff can be fake. And so it doesn't really surprise me that this whole $5,000 bribery storyline could have been fake, right? It doesn't really surprise me that Jason Oppenheim was on the phone faking a phone call. It wouldn't surprise me if it turns to find out that Chelsea did not find a buyer for that house. It would not surprise me if, a lot of these, it wouldn't surprise me if Chriselle was using Jason Oppenheim for a storyline. Because quite as it's kept, it looked like Jason was in love with Chriselle, but it really did not look like Chriselle was in love with Jason. I mean, I'm just saying. So anyways, let me know how y'all feel about the situation. Do you think Christine is telling the truth? Is all of that stuff with Chelsea and the bribery and Emma and all of that, is it fake, or is Christine continuing to quote unquote lie? Personally, I believe Christine, because I clocked it before she even admitted to it. Okay, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Moving right along to something a little bit more deeper and darker. Okay, Miss Christine Quinn goes on to say that the producers manipulated people's emotions. Okay, she says they riled up all of the women before each and every scene, which is very typical on reality TV. Okay, so that's nothing new. But then she goes on to say that they manipulated the women, they harassed the women, they mentally torture the women, and they intimidate the cast. And she gave an example. Sometimes they'll be on set for 3, 4, 5 hours at a damn luncheon and are not allowed to wrap up or go home until somebody says what the producer wants them to specifically say. Meaning, let's say one of the cast members one of the producers tells Vanessa, hey, go in the scene and say I eat ass. And if Vanessa refuses to say, quote, I eat ass, unquote, they will keep her on set for 3, 4, 5 hours until she says what they want her to say in order to get the scene, in order to get the storyline that they want. Okay, does that make sense? Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if she's telling the truth. That is up to y'all. Y'all be the judge. Y'all be the jury. I'm not really sure. I'm just the messenger at this point. But she says that the producers, I guess over there at Done and Done Productions, manipulate, harass, and mentally torture and intimidate the rest of the ladies. And then that's when we get into the tea about Adam Devereaux. Now, I did a little bit of digging about Adam Devereaux, and this wouldn't be the first time that he was in some hot water when it comes to his talent. Now, remember, I read off on his very own website that he created and produced Laguna Beach, The Real Orange County, and The Hills, and The City, and the rest of the things on MTV. Well, there was a complaint filed against Adam Devereaux by Heidi Montag. And I believe Heidi Montag ended up suing the man. I think there was a lawsuit. Hold on, let me see. Let's see. Heidi Montag lawsuit, sexual misconduct. Right? There is a vulture.com headline from April 15th, 2010 that reads Heidi Montag sues Adam Divolo for sexual harassment. Okay. I see another one from New York Daily News. Oh, they won't let me look at the article because I have my ad block on. New incognito window. Okay, let's see. New York Daily News. Heidi Montag to sue the Hills creator Adam Divolo for sexual harassment. Right? It reads, reality stars are coming to the defense of the Hills creator Adam Divolo, who has been accused of sexually harassing Heidi Montag. Similar to most of my fellow MTV castmates, I am in utter shock at the allegations made against Adam Divolo, the show's former star Lauren Conrad said in a statement. Not only are they completely absurd, but they are 100% without merit. According to Life and Style, Montag is planning to sue the show's creator over an incident in which he allegedly touched her inappropriately during a cast photo shoot in March. Okay. Adam came up to her from behind and grabbed her with one hand on her stomach and one hand directly on her butt cheek, an insider claimed. Heidi had 6 bodyguards with her. They took his hand off her and moved him away from the situation. Okay. Now, I'm bringing this up because Christine Quinn in this Call Her Daddy interview basically was trying to spell out this story of these formal complaints filed against this specific producer, the show creator. Now, to sum that up, in 2010, Heidi says that she was harassed sexually by this man, sexual misconduct. Lauren Conrad in this same thing is coming to the guy's defense talking about it's absurd. So at this point, it's kind of like he say, she say. We don't know who to believe because where's the evidence? And I would assume that this was maybe settled or dropped or something to that effect because he's still working with his own production company with the likes of CMT and MTV and Netflix, right? So anyways, I say all of that to say that Christine now is coming out and saying that she filed her own formal complaint against Adam Divolo because he allegedly told sis to fall down a flight of stairs and kill herself. Now you're wondering, well, why would he say that? Well, Christine Quinn, we know she's known for doing interviews where she can be extremely honest. I guess in this particular interview, she was spilling production secrets and basically trying to spell out to the viewers what was real and what was fake about a particular scene. Adam Divolo allegedly did not like that interview. He did not like that Christine Quinn was being honest or spilling production secrets like how she's doing in this interview. And therefore, he allegedly told her to fall down a flight of stairs and kill herself. Why a lot of the media has not picked that up, I don't know why, because I literally just Googled it and I saw some people talking about it, but I did not see enough people talking about it. But I found that to be really interesting. Let me know if y'all believe that situation. She filed a formal complaint against the producer, and now this producer, Adam Divolo, is not allowed to step foot on the set because of multiple formal complaints of misconduct. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Now, on one hand, my head goes, Christine might be making this up. She could be making this up because maybe she saw what happened with Heidi Montag and maybe she wants to file a formal complaint or, try to stick something on the man because she looks bad and maybe she's trying to retaliate against production for making her look a certain way. So maybe she's coming up with this narrative and maybe she thinks people will believe it because Heidi Montag made a formal complaint and wanted to file a lawsuit in the past, right? But on the other hand, she could be telling the truth. So I don't really know. I don't really know. Y'all gotta let me know. Y'all know Christine is my girl and she's my favorite on the show. So my biased nature wants to, of course, believe her. But then again, I don't know. There's two sides to every story. And then, of course, there's the truth. Right? In conclusion, she says that she never got fired from the Oppenheim group. She terminated her contract before that whole bribery storyline even took place because, of course, she was launching her own brokerage and you can't be under two brokerages, whatever. And the number one question that we have so far is now that Christine Quinn, and y'all in this very same interview, she showed us a clip of some made up dubbed audio that they tried to put on Christine. They tried to make it sound like she said that Chrishell was cheating on her ex-husband who used to be on This Is Us. They tried to make it sound like Christine was saying that Chrishell cheated on the This Is Us actor with Jason Oppenheim when it really wasn't like that. And she showed us the edited clip and then she showed us the original clip, which goes into this narrative that the show is fake, okay? Now, the number one question is, now that she has exposed production and has talked about Adam Divolo, and now that her contract has been terminated with the Oppenheim Group, will Christine be back on Selling Sunset? Now, I don't know how production is going to reconcile with the fact that she has been going on press and doing interviews exposing production. It's hard for me to imagine them working with her knowing that she's out here saying this stuff. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just hard to imagine that. But at the same time, I do believe if the producers know what's good for them, and I personally believe, now this is an unbiased opinion, Christine Quinn is great for the show because nobody wants to see a show, with just Chrishell and her minions, right? Because then we would be seeing, imagine a scale and the scale is just tipped one way. Okay, nobody wants to see that. And so Christine balances off Chrishell and her minions. So I think it would be in the show's best interest to keep Christine Quinn on, show her opening up her own brokerage, and then competing for listings. Okay, because I believe we kind of got a glimpse of that in Selling Tampa, where Raina, I think her name was, wanted to go off and do her own brokerage. And we've seen that on $1 Million Listing, where they compete for listings and things of that nature, right? So I think it would be great for the show if they kept Christine, but I think Christine's passion is she wants to open this brokerage and she wants to do her own show via Hulu. So y'all, I know that was a whole bunch of information. It was all over the place, but hopefully y'all enjoyed it, all right? Y'all got to let me know how y'all feel about this entire messy situation in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day.